Hi guys, I hope you all are well. Today, in this video, we are going to talk about capital goods. In this video, we will be covering that what are capital goods, its importance, and how it is different from consumer goods. So let's start with it. So, what is the meaning of capital goods? Capital goods are physical assets that a company uses in the production process to manufacture products and services that consumers will later use. Capital goods include buildings, machinery, equipment, vehicles, and tools. Capital goods are not finished goods. Instead, they are used to make finished goods. So basically, capital good is a durable good that is used in the process in the in the production process of another finished goods. Capital goods are one of the three types of producer goods, the other two being land and labor. In the continuation of this only, the capital goods are the fixed assets which are used in the productive process in order to produce a finished consumer good. Capital goods are not bought for their own utility. They are bought in order to be used in the productive process. As I have told you earlier, that capital goods are not the finished goods. They are the goods that help in the production process of finished goods, that is, consumer goods. Capital goods are not bought for their own utility, but they are bought in order to be used in the productive process. Now, the examples of capital goods are factories, offices, machines, printing press, combined harvester, assembly line. Now, the capital goods in the service sector includes coffee machine, fans, shop tails, and computerized stock systems. Now, the next thing that we are going to talk about is the difference between capital goods and consumer goods. So let's start by discussing the meaning of consumption goods and capital goods. Consumption goods are those goods that are used by the consumers and have no use in future. Consumer goods are purchased in order to fulfill personal consumption needs. Its target market is consumer and the demand of consumption goods are high and its price is comparatively cheaper. Whereas the capital goods are those goods that have a future use and are used for production of consumption goods. Capital goods are purchased for manufacturing of consumption goods. Its target market is manufacturers and the demand for capital goods is comparatively less. Even in the cost, con- the capital goods are more costlier than the consumption goods. So basically, consumption goods are those goods which are directly used for satisfaction of human wants. These are not used in the production of other goods. Consumption goods are meant for final consumption as final goods, whereas capital goods are those goods which are used in the process of production for several years and are of higher value. These goods are fixed assets of the producers. Use of these goods leads to depreciation. The example of consumption good is ice cream and milk used by household, whereas the example of capital goods is plant and machinery. Now, in this picture, the first picture shows the capital good, that is, a fixed asset used in the production of other goods. And the second pic shows is the consumer goods, as it is bought in shops as final product. Now, we are going to talk about that why are capital goods important. So, capital goods are important for increasing the long-term productive capacity of our economy. More capital goods reduce consumption in the short term, but can lead to higher living standards in the economy. Therefore, economies often face a trade-off between consumer goods and capital goods. If a country wants to flourish and become the leader in terms of trade, then capital goods are very important. They increase the long term productive capacity of the country's economy. So, we have seen that if the capital goods are more, then it is possible that consumption is decreased in the short run, but the overall living standard will increase in the long run. This is a PPF. Here, the opportunity cost of moving from point A to point B is that consumer goods falls from 150 to 170 to 270. But in long term, PPF can shift to the right. As I have told you that the more capital goods can lead to the reduction of consumption in short run only, but the overall living standard will increase. And also, the capital goods increase the long term productive capacity of the country's economy. Now, then this is the comparison table between consumer goods and capital goods. The first column shows the parameters on the basis of which we will differentiate consumer goods and capital goods. So, goods consumed by an end user are consumer goods, whereas goods processed to produce consumer goods are capital goods. Consumer goods are marketed business to consumer, whereas capital goods are marketed to business. The purpose of consumer goods is bought for the personal consumption, whereas capital goods are bought for making other product or finished product. Buyers of consumer goods are consumers only, whereas the buyers of capital goods are manufacturers. Demand of consumer goods are high as comparatively capital goods. The demand for capital goods is low. This storage. Consumer goods can be stored in homes like refrigerator, desk, kitchen, whereas the capital goods are stored in the warehouse or inventory. So these are some parameters on the basis of which consumer goods and capital goods are differentiated. That is, consumer goods are used directly for the satisfaction of human needs. It is marketed to business to consumers and its demand is high. Its buyer or targeted market is consumers only. Whereas in the case of capital goods, they are used to produce other finished goods. They are marketed business to business. Its demand is less and its target market is manufacturers. Now, we are going to talk about a very important question, that is, goods which can be both capital goods and consumer goods. A good can be both capital good and consumer good. That depends upon its usage. So let's take an example to understand. A family unit may a may a mower to cut their grass. In this case, it is a consumer good as it is used by a household. However, if a gardening firm purchases a lawn mower, it is considered a capital good. In this case, the gardening firm is using the land mover to produce a good or service of lawn moving services. So, in this example, the lawn mower was used by the household. That is why it was a consumer good. That is, it is directly used to satisfy the consumer wants. Whereas in the second case, it was used by a gardening firm. So it is used for the further process. That is why it is a capital goods. Though a good can be a capital or a consumer good, that depends upon its usage. Now, we are again going to talk about the importance of capital goods. The capital goods are important because they increase the productivity of the overall economy. Capital goods, being high investment products, plays an important role in the economy. It acts as an entry barrier for new companies which lack the necessary funds for acquiring such equipment. If a business is unable to produce goods due to lack of equipment, it will not be able to compete in the market. Capital goods play a vital role in increasing the production of goods in the long term. Or, in other words, it increases the production capacity of goods and services. So basically, the capital merchandise are significant for expanding the drawn out beneficial limit of the economy. More capital products lessen utilization temporarily, yet can prompt higher expectations for everyday comforts in the economy. In this manner, economies regularly face a compromise between purchaser products and capital merchandise. As I have told you earlier, that the capital goods can increase or increases the long-term production capacity of an economy. In the short run, it may lead to less consumption, but in the long run, it will increase the standard of living. That is why the economies regularly face a compromise between purchaser products and capital merchandise. That we have seen early in the previous slides where we have shown you the PPF. There also, the consumption goods have fallen and capital goods have increased. That may lead to the decrease in consumption in short run, but it shifts the PPF rightward in the long run. Now, we are going to talk about a very main question, that is, are raw materials capital goods? All the tangible resources that are used in the process of producing or manufacturing other goods in the factories or warehouses are the capital goods, as we have learned earlier. While raw material is the basic requirement to produce the goods and services, which will further be sold to generate the revenue. Thus, raw materials don't come under capital goods. We know that the capital goods who are used or who are sold for the further process or for the further production of finished goods are the capital goods, whereas at the raw material is the basic requirement to produce the goods and services which will further be sold to generate the revenue, not for the further process. That's why it doesn't come under the capital goods. So, now we come to the conclusion. So, this video concluded that consumer goods, in terms of chain flow and market, are much higher than capital goods because of their usage and demand. Consumer goods are easy to reach by consumers, yet, capital goods are meant to be processed first before consumed. Consumer goods are tangible products that have the mean used to satisfy current needs, while capital goods are not to be consumed directly but purchased to make other consumable products. So consumer goods may have higher demand in their and more usage, but capital goods are used for the further process. The consumption goods are produced with the help of capital goods only. Consumer goods are the tangible products that are used to satisfy the current needs, while the capital goods are used to produce the consumption or consumer goods that will help to satisfy your needs. Thank you. Have a nice day.